Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you state your name again for the record, please?
Julie Conrad.
And raise your right hand to be sworn.
You solemnly swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give forth this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
You may be seated, please.
Thank you.
Ma'am, would you state your name and spell your last name for the court, please?
Julie Conrad. Julieconrad.
And your relationship to Megan Conrad? Or Megan Imirowicz, excuse me.
She is my daughter.
All right. And your relationship to Morgan Imirowicz?
My daughter.
Your relationship to Austin Imirowicz?
My son.
And your relationship to Konrad Imirowicz?
My ex-husband.
All right. And you would talk to Konrad occasionally, would you?
Yes.
I draw your attention to that night, October 1st, 2021. Do you remember what occurred?
Yes.
Did you receive a call?
Yes.
And what did you do?
The phone call was from Austin for asking me to go to his father's house and to pick up Konrad's cell phone and to bring it up to the hospital.
All right. What did you do first? Did you go to the house or did you go to the hospital?
First, I called another adult to follow me over to Konrad's house, and we went into the house with the other adult, always within a few feet of me. In fact, one time even so close that ran right into him when I turned around real quick. And then he followed me back out to Grange Hall Road, and I headed up to Genesis, and he
Okay.
headed home.
All right. So you were in the house with another individual, correct?
Yes.
What was the condition of the house?
Have you seen the show Hoarding?
Well, I don't
A lot of trash. You could not walk into the kitchen. There was trash bags and various trash all over. To the couch, there's just a little, like 1 foot wide trail to the couch, to where Konrad was sitting that day, on the left side of the couch. Austin's bedroom, I believe, was pretty much empty. Megan's bedroom was a mess, but just clothing. The bathroom, it needed a good cleaning. And the downstairs, the lower level of the bi-level, the basement, it smelled a lot like cat urine, cat feces. The lower level bathroom, I gagged, and that's when I turned around and ran into the other adult, as the toilet was full of feces, and it really smelled bad. With Konrad's bedroom, there was not a bed, and the freezer was open a little bit, and that's the only thing that we touched other than the front doorknob. We closed the freezer to preserve the food.
And you indicated there was an odor in the house?
Oh yes, I mean, it's a combination of cat smell. I know there was mold because my eyes started itching and the roof of my mouth started itching, and that only happens when I'm around mold.
What did you search for when you were at the house?
Well, first we were looking for a cell phone, and that was pretty easy to find as we stood at the top of the stairs, and I called Konrad's cell phone number, and a piece of paper started moving around on a table, and so we went over and looked underneath the piece of paper, and I was able to grab the cell phone. And we were also looking for what kind of chemicals, because if he had chemical burns, as a ski patroller for 23 years, it's important to know what he's burned by so he can be treated properly for those burns. And so we were looking for what type of chemicals and taking pictures. And all the pictures I shared with Trooper Smith when they arrived up at Genesis.
Did you observe the white bottle?
I never saw a white bottle.
Did you look at the couch?
Yes.
Was the couch damp in any way?
It looked like it was well sat in certain areas. It was an older couch, and it looks like the areas where people would sit for, days, years, were kind of like, it was a different type of, the fuzzy part of the material wore off.
Now, did you observe any liquid on the floor?
The carpet was definitely wet. There was plastic bags all around right in front of the couch, and I stepped on one. I thought it was cat feces. There were not any tigers there, so I don't think it was cat feces.
It was feces of some kind?
I think it was human feces.
After you looked for the chemicals and you found the phone, what, if anything, did you do?
Well, we took the pictures. We did see a powder, like on the back of the couch, like where your head would rest. We did see powder there. So I took a picture of that. And again, that was one that I had texted to Trooper Smith. And we just, any type of chemical product we took a picture of. And then after that, we went ahead and left.
Where'd you go next?
Back out to Grange Hall and up to the emergency room at Genesis.
What happened when you got to Genesis?
I saw Kayla, who I recognized, and so I walked right up to her, and she goes, "Okay, well, let us call Lucas out so you can go in," and so we kind of did a switch there, and I went in and was in the room with Konrad and Austin, and medical people were coming in and out.
Did you have a chance to talk to Konrad?
Yes.
What, if anything, did he tell you?
He's like, "Hi," and he was very animated, and knowing Konrad, so I knew what condition he was in. But he's like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And I was like, "Does anything hurt?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, what happened?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm just here. They're giving me meds and stuff, and everyone's coming to see me." And he was like having a jolly old time.
Okay. Did he ever at any point in that day tell you anybody did anything?
No. He just kept repeating, "I don't know. I don't know." And he actually showed me many of his burns. And I was feeding him ice chips.
It came a point in time when you left, correct?
Yes. The hospital staff was rounding everything up and getting everything ready so he could be put onto the ambulance for transport to Hurley.
Did you ever talk to him after he left the hospital?
No.
Did you ever try and visit him?
No. On the next day, I had set up a text chat, real text, not Snapchat, a text group with Austin, Morgan, myself, and my youngest son, Ian, so we could get updates on their dad. And I ended up calling Austin, and he told me that a plan was put in place where no one could come up there except for himself and one other, and you had to have the passcode or the password in order to get any information or to visit. And he told me I better not ever try to go around that. He goes, I know you're good at talking your way into things, and not to ever come up there or do anything or you're done for.
So did you ever talk to Konrad after that date and time?
No, I never talked with Konrad after he left Genesis.
All right. Now, Konrad had some health issues.
He'd had issues for many, many years.
All right. You were married to him until when?
The divorce was final May 2011. I'd moved out of the house into my own house in December 2010, and that was after custody was established.
When you were divorced, what, if any, medications was he on?
He was taking a blood pressure medication and a water pill.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that last one.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear the last answer.
Oh, he was taking a blood pressure medication and a water pill. He also took an over-the-counter allergy medication and an allergy medication that is a nasal spray.
Do you know if he continued those after the divorce?
I would have no way to know.
All right. And you would talk to him occasionally, correct?
Yes,
You had children together with him.
yes.
Did he ever discuss his health with you?
Yes, he did. Actually, that summer he had discussed his health with me. He called up and asked me, I could tell he was sort of embarrassed, and he asked me why his urine would be dark brown, almost black, and very difficult to, I'll use the word, urinate. And I told him right away that he needed to go get some, emergency help. He needed to go to the hospital right then.
To your knowledge, did he ever go?
I have no idea. I had kids to take care of.
Sure. And there came a point in time when, originally with the custody, you were granted custody of the kids, correct?
Yes, I had primary custody. The kids were with me every Wednesday evening. Konrad was supposed to pick up the children from school and drop them off. It began at 7 p.m., but as the kids got a little bit older, it changed to 8 p.m. And then he had them every other weekend from right after school through the Monday morning when he dropped them off at school.
There came a point in time when that changed, correct?
Correct.
And what, do you remember when that was?
Yes, it was right when my mother was in the hospital for cancer. It was February 2019, and the kids were talking about living with Konrad. Well, the motion that he filed was for him to have full custody of all 4 children.
And what was the result of, what was the end product of all the court process?
Okay, the end product was that he had custody of the older 2, Megan and Austin, 100% of the time, physical custody. I had physical custody of the younger 2, Morgan and Ian, 100% of the time. Now the children could decide when or even if they wanted to see the other parent. It was up to them, with the one exception being Christmas Eve they had to be with their dad, and Christmas Day they had to be with me.
And Mr. Nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Conrad.
Good afternoon, Mr. DeSantis.
If, I've been told I talk a little fast sometimes, so if you need me to repeat anything, just let me know.
Oh, I'm used to my chipmunk Morgan.
Sure. So your children in order of age would be Austin, Megan, Morgan, and Ian,
Yes.
right? How old would they have been on October 1st, 2021, each?
Okay, this is a quiz, isn't it?
No, it's not. I promise. Just to
Okay.
establish the relationships.
That would have been 2 years ago. Actually, 1 year ago. So Austin would have been 19. Megan would have just turned 18. Morgan was 17. And Ian was 13.
Okay. Now, the day of the incident, October 1st,
Yes.
you went over to the house with another person. Who was that?
Evan Sweeter.
Okay, Evan Sweeter?
Yes.
And what was his relationship to you?
Actually, someone who helped me out a lot, but Morgan's boyfriend. But he was 18
Okay,
and therefore an adult.
okay. So you had Morgan's boyfriend come with you to this house?
Yes.
Okay. Was he at the home when you had been called?
No.
Okay.
But as soon as I hung up from Austin, I immediately called Evan, and Evan's house was actually on my way to Konrad's.
Okay. When Austin called you and told you what had happened, and you went over to the house, what information did you have going into the home?
I knew that Konrad had been burned by some type of chemical. I knew that they were at Genesis. I knew that Megan was having problems with the PIN number on her dad's credit card, and that my dad was also involved, and he ended up actually paying for the hotel room on his credit card. I think that's all I knew.
Okay. And what Austin had asked you to do was go and get the phone, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did he ask you to do anything else?
Yes, he asked me to see what chemicals were around,
Okay.
so we could figure out what was put on them.
Okay. So you went in there, and you started searching through.
I mean, walking through, yes.
Okay. Did you move anything aside to try and find any chemicals or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Did you see the blanket on the couch?
There was a lot of stuff wadded up at the right end of the couch.
Okay. A lot of stuff wadded up the right end of the couch. You didn't search through that pile, though?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't want to touch anything.
Okay. So you didn't know if there could be a chemical bottle in the couch?
No idea.
Okay. You said the floor was wet?
Yes.
Okay. And that the couch was certainly discolored?
Was worn.
Sure. Okay. If I could use the word well sat in, I think, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And you saw white powder on the back of the couch?
on the, yes, on the area behind the couch.
Okay. Then you said you also went and saw, and then you left after that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes, just for the record?
Yes.
That's okay. 20-year officers do that as well. Don't worry about it. And then you went to the hospital.
Yes.
Okay. And the person who was with you left, didn't come with.
Correct. He went back to his house.
Okay. Why didn't you have him come with you to the hospital?
He had to actually wait and pick up Morgan from, I believe Morgan was at a football game at the high school,
Okay.
and so he had to wait and pick up her.
All right. And so you went to the hospital,
Yes.
and you went in and saw Konrad,
Yes.
and you said he was having, I think it was a jolly old time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He was medicated then, wasn't he?
I did not see for sure that he was medicated, but I'm sure he was.
Right. You weren't there when he was first picked up, of course.
No.
All right.
No.
When did you get to the house?
I got to the house at around 5:30, 5:20. I think it was 5:20.
Okay. Was it already dark out?
No,
It was October 1st, so it's
Yeah,
kind of in between, right?
you're right. It wasn't dark yet.
Okay. Now, after the case was over, well, let me ask you this. First off, you talked about the custody split at the end that changed in February, correct?
Yes.
So that the physical custody changed.
Yes.
So did Megan and Austin choose to go and live with Konrad?
I asked each child what they wished and what did they want, because they were all, old enough to make the decisions. And so I did what they all wanted.
So about that time, Megan would have been, what, 17?
No, in 2019, she was 15.
Okay, she was 15. And so you thought she was old enough to choose which parent she lived with?
Well, I understood that around age 12, and depending upon maturity level, that they can start having a voice in where they want to live.
Okay. And so she chose to go with Konrad?
Yes.
And that was the agreement that was set then?
Yes.
All right. After the case began, after this incident happened, Megan came home for a while, right?
Megan came to my house. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She came to live with you?
I picked her up from the jail.
Okay. Did she tell you what had happened?
First we hugged and cried.
Sure.
And then she asked, is her dad okay? And I showed her 2 pictures that I had taken of her dad.
What were the pictures of?
One was of his head and the burn on his head. The other one was of his, I don't remember if it's left or right, but of one of his hands where the cuticles were all pulled back and the burns went up about to the middle of his fingernail.
Why did you show her those?
So she could know what condition her father was in.
Okay. And then you brought her home?
Well, we talked a little bit more first.
Sure. Overall, you brought her home then?
Yes.
Okay, and so she was staying with you for a while?
Yes, she stayed with me until March, I believe it was March 16th.
Okay. Now, I assume, when you first took the stand, counsel was asking you about your kids and naming them off, and you had an evident smile on your face. I assume, you love your kids. I assume
Yes.
Megan was always welcome at home, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been talking about, and we've heard in this trial, and in fact, you heard in this trial because you were watching on the stream, right?
I watched the first day I did not really watch too much of it, and then some of it I was not able to watch at all. There's a few testimonies I saw all of them.
Okay. So you were talking today about the mess of the house?
Yeah.
Okay, and it had been in that condition for some time?
Well, there was one point in time many, many years ago that I actually went over and said, I'll help clean, and after about 10 hours of working, I had only cleaned the boys' bedroom.
Sure. That was years ago?
That was years ago.
Years prior to this incident, prior
Yes.
to 2021?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so despite this, Megan chose to live with her father?
Yes.
Okay. And while this was all going on, she never came home until this happened? She never came to your place, right? She never moved back in?
Once in a while she would come over.
Sure, but she didn't move back in, right?
Correct.
Okay. She chose to stay there?
Yeah.
Okay. Megan is, of course, your daughter. You love her very much. You don't want anything bad to happen to her, right?
Correct.
Nothing else, Judge.
Mr. Ron?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have questions? Okay, you can step down. Your excuses of witness.
Thank you.